guys, we'll dive in. Welcome all. Dave, can I have you put the flag up? We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. You guys can either say it with me or mute yourselves if you choose, but I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do I have any volunteers for an invocation or a motivational phrase today?
Yes, I'd like to offer one.
Truman, we'd love that. Please, go ahead.
To keep a lamp burning, we have to keep putting oil in it. But I was most interested in where it came from. Mother Jones. Some of you would know who that was. I'm not going to get into it, but Mother Jones tells us have to keep putting oil in the lamp if it's going to burn.
Okay, thank you.
Can I give one too?
Yeah, Dave, please.
All right. To succeed in life, you need two things, ignorance and confidence. Mark Twain.
Oh, great.
Who said that, Dave?
Mark Twain.
Okay, sounds about right. That's fantastic.
Yep. Every cynical comment gets attributed to him. I don't know why.
I feel that way too. Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you, guys. All right. So guests today, Tom, I see you're on the call. You are our speaker. You're with the Doernbecher Children's Cancer Program. So we'll give you a floor here just in a couple minutes, but okay. Thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure.
Kelly, hello, welcome. Can you tell us your role and what brings you today?
Yeah, so I am the outgoing Key Club advisor at Redmond High School. I've been running Key Club at the high school for the last 4 years. And then I'm passing the baton off today to Alana.
Wonderful.
New guy.
Thank you. Well, thank you for all your help over the last 4 years. That's been great.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then Alana, thank you for joining us today. I'll give you a second to introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. My name is Alana Jones, and this is the first club that I'm taking over. I've had 4 blissful years of just being a teacher. And so now it's time to put on another hat. So this seemed like a good opportunity. It's definitely the cream of the crop. All of the kids who are passionate about community service and coming into this group are a joy to have in normal class. So it's nice to get to spend some time with them outside of the classroom as well. So I'm looking forward to pushing us forward and having hopefully a more normal experience with them next year.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you. We're looking forward to working with you moving forward, and we're excited for you. So thank you. Okay, announcement time. Let's start with birthdays. Looks like June 7th, Mr. John Bruce celebrates a big one, or a birthday in general, I suppose. So happy late birthday. That was 2 days ago. Sorry. And then we've got to catch up. We missed Penny's birthday back on April 29th. So she's not with us today, but happy birthday, Penny. As far as volunteer opportunities, upcoming June 12th, Saturday. Chris, I don't know if you want to say anything about this, but we've got our Adopt a Highway Road cleanup. We're going to be meeting at Pappy's at 9 a.m. on the corner of 6th and Maple. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yep, I'm grabbing all the gear. So just need to show up, probably wear sturdy shoes. If you want to bring gloves, I think we'll have some gloves. So I'll have some extras if anybody needs it. And I'll grab that stuff Friday. So we'll see you guys there, 9 a.m. If you could let me know if you're able to, just so I can kind of get a head count and map out how to attack. That'd be great. Thanks.
Wonderful. We had an emergency board meeting this morning. I shouldn't use the word emergency, but in regards to our Monday Flag Day duties. And so it sounds as if there's going to be a boatload of people there to volunteer, which is always great, but we can always use more hands. So if you know of anybody or are willing to recruit friends and family and neighbors to come walk with us and put out the flags, we would love that. We had to change our affiliation with what's going on because of COVID restrictions. And so I'm going to read you guys what the communications are going to look like that we're putting out. on our Facebook page. And Dave, I think, is going to update the website if he hasn't already with this verbiage. But our statement is this: due to COVID protocols currently in place with Kiwanis International, we will not be able to sponsor this coming Flag Day, June 14th. Any of our members who participate will not be considered an official representative. However, our love and support of this patriotic event has not wavered, and we would like to continue to encourage as much participation as possible from our community for this long-standing Flag City event. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and that's basically the forward-facing narrative for the public. And so it's certainly nothing personal with Flag City. We love the event and we want to take ownership of it, but due to some technicalities, COVID has created some issues. And so that's going to become a further board discussion moving forward as to what our involvement needs to look like. But many of us are already signed up to help and volunteer, and that's not going to change. I know I'm driving and pulling a trailer, and I think Chris Ritchie is as well. Dan Tippie is involved, and we're looking forward to it. It should be a great day. It's a great deal. And so, we want to remain involved in one capacity or another. Tuesday the 15th at noon, we do have our monthly board meeting. All members or new members are encouraged to attend, see what we're all about, and see what happens behind the scenes. We have a little bit of an update to our in-person meetings at Juniper. Wednesday the 16th, we are set to resume. So that's exciting. We're ready to get back and meet in person and, bump elbows or fist bump or whatever we need to do. There's been a few updates. I want to see if Rachel emailed me some of that stuff. It looks like taking temperatures will no longer be required, which is great, I think. And then if you're masked, let's see, you have to wear a mask if you're not fully vaccinated. And it looks like maybe you don't have to wear a mask if you are, but obviously we're not going to tell you you can't wear a mask, so please feel free. But yeah, beginning the 16th, so that's exciting. Soup will no longer be offered. That's a Juniper deal. And they are strongly encouraging pre-orders of lunch. So you'll see the email from Carl with the information on that moving forward. So we're excited. It's going to be great to see people in person again.
The menu will be on the website too.
Thanks, Dave. Perfect. Okay, so now it's Happy Dollar time. Carl, yes.
Josh, before we go to Happy Dollars, I'd like to make a presentation here to Kelly.
Oh.
We have a plaque, folks, that we are giving Kelly for being our advisor for the last 4 years. Kelly's kind of a lifelong Kiwanian, if nothing else than by her dad. So we really appreciate that. We also have a card for her and a little token of our appreciation. So Kelly, thank you for everything you've done. You've done a great job for the kids and for Kiwanis in general. So thank you.
Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it. I'll still definitely try to connect with everybody in Kiwanis. I probably can't keep away, so I'm sure I'll find a way to still talk to you guys and see you and help out in some way.
I'll make sure she has an application available to her at any time.
I was just going to say the same, Earl. Yeah, and Kelly, don't be a stranger. Please feel free to join us for lunch one of these upcoming Wednesdays too.
Absolutely not. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you. Any other announcements before we move into Happy Dollars? Mike?
I was going to say the Kiwanis Foundation met last week too on Thursday and did our annual financial review and plan for and then we also granted some funds to the Friends of the Children via the Dick and Kay Keene Fund for $10,000 to help them with their $23,000 project to redo their sprinkling system to get their new facility up and running. Anyway, and then we also are in the process of finding our place to invest the Bob Gill funds to where we can have a perpetual scholarship fund from that money as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike. Okay, any other announcements? No? Okay, let's move on into happy dollars. So who's happy this week? Chris.
I'll put in $5 for playing golf with Josh, who brought one club, his putter, and on the 18th hole sunk like a, what was that, 30 to 50 foot putt on the 18th hole for the Ronald McDonald House. That was really fun, and we had a good time. So I'm happy for that. There's $5.
Awesome. I will echo that. I will also put in $5 for one heck of a putt. Probably the putt of my life. It was amazing. It was like a 40 foot. It was uphill with a curve to it and whatever else. It was amazing. But to Chris's point, if you guys weren't on the call last week, I had my gallbladder out 12 days ago now, I think, or 11 days ago. So I was told I couldn't swing a golf club for a month or more. And so I literally brought my putter only to a golf tournament. And yeah, it paid off. It was fun. So $5 for me as well.
That's great. For you, Josh.
Thank you, Truman. All right. Any other happy dollars this week? John, Bruce.
Well, first of all, this last week I celebrated my 82nd birthday. And for those of you who've been in the club for a while, you know that on my mother and my mother's sister died on their birthdays. So since I didn't die, I assume I get another year. You know, that's kind of a good thing if I'm only superstitious enough to believe in that. And with reference to that, my daughter and I went on a daddy-daughter fishing trip down at Coltis Lake. And we arrived, it was beautiful, we had a nice sunset. And the next day we get up to go fishing. It was 34 degrees and about a 20-mile-an-hour wind. You couldn't even cast off at the dock. But we didn't go fishing, but we did do a lot of hiking. We discovered if you leave the lake area and get into another valley, it was actually quite nice. So that was a great fun time to do that. And also the books behind me, these are not mine. When I was in Alaska, I built a bookcase similar to this, not quite as large, out of rough lumber, which was full 2-inch. And I had quite a few books, but I've got rid of most of them. They're now mostly online. So anyway, I did this because I've been noticing when the pundits come online, they always have books behind them, makes them look more intelligent. I'm trying the same thing here. And with that, I'll leave $5 for the happy dollars.
Well, John, you've never looked smarter to me, so I can appreciate those books. Thank you.
Get new glasses.
Yeah. Roland.
Okay, yeah, this last weekend we had my son's family, which is Brian and his wife and their 2 daughters. Daughters are a sophomore at University of Oregon, and the other one's a junior in Gresham High School. And my daughter drove over from Pendleton, so we had a house full. And speaking of getting out and about, they got out on Saturday and went over to Clear Lake and did that hike around it. It's a 5-mile loop, but they said it was beautiful and it didn't rain too much. So I'll contribute 5.
Okay, that's great. Excellent. How often do you get to see them?
How long?
How often do you see them?
I don't remember what they said. Well, they stopped and picnicked along the way, so.
Excellent. Very cool. All right. Anybody else? Dan Tippy.
I got a couple of happy dollars. I'm happy that I'm going to get to go to Seattle and see all the kids and granddaughter over this coming weekend. So, Chris, I'm sad that I'll miss Saturday's pickup, but I'm happy that I will be back in time Sunday night so that I can help with flags on Monday. So happy to see you all. There's happy $3.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dan. Okay, anybody else?
Well, I'm happy to be here today. So how do I contribute? Can I just go to your website and give my credit card?
Go to the contact page and there's a happy dollars PayPal button on the on the right-hand side down there at the bottom.
Okay. I'm at least $5 happy.
Well, thank you, Tom. We appreciate that. John Duff, did I see your hand?
A couple, let's start out with, I'll just do $5. First, I want to thank Carl Bertree as always for donating tomatoes to my garden. They're in and doing well, so I thank you for that. John Bruce, if you still have potatoes, I'll take them unless they're not good anymore.
Can't hear you, John.
That's because I'm on mute. You're welcome to them, John. Drop by or I can bring by the office.
Okay. That'd be great. I'll put in $2 sad, but it was still a good season for both the Ducks and the Beavers baseball teams. They had really good seasons. Both lost in the final game of on Monday, but was really proud of both teams and how far they've come. And hopefully we'll do better next year. And the last couple dollars was just last Friday. Got to attend the award ceremony at Redmond High School and was just overwhelmed with the support that this community and others, across the state and country support our kids. Over $1.5 million was distributed amongst Redmond High School kids. That is significant and impressive. And I just also want to say a special thank you to this club for giving Olivia a scholarship. Very appreciative and generous of you guys to do so. It means a lot, and help her education at U of O next year. So thank you to the club.
She earned it.
Thank you.
Yeah, she worked hard. Excellent. Okay, any last minute happy dollars before we move into the joke of the day? Because I know you guys are all waiting for that. All right. Which is faster, hot or cold? Any guesses?
Cold.
Why?
Oh,
No. The answer is hot because you can't catch a cold. Ha ha. Facepalm it. Yeah, I get it. I'm there with you. I didn't come up with that joke. That's not mine. So, but with that said, Tom, we set the bar real low for you. So we, I think we're wrong. I like to do that intentionally, set the bar real low. No, you're going to be great. We're excited to learn more about the Doernbecher Children's Cancer Program. So you've got the floor. Please, if you need to share your screen, by all means, let Dave know.
Yeah, I would like to share the screen.
You're good to go.
Oops, I need to share the sound first. Gotta get down to the thing here. Okay. All right, everybody can see that?
Yep.
And everybody can hear me, I hope. Well, I'd like to start off by thanking you once again for inviting me to speak to your group today. I saw on your website that I am the last Zoom presenter, and you'll be returning to live meetings next week. And that's great. It's historic, I guess. I hope I'm the last Zoom presenter ever to the Kiwanis Club. But so this sort of transition is actually what I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. KDCCP, or Kiwanis Doernbecher Children's Cancer Program, is reaching out to as many Kiwanis clubs as possible to kindle or rekindle the interest and the passion that Kiwanians have shown in the past for Doernbecher and the Pediatric Hematology Oncology Fellowship Program. OHSU Doernbecher and KDCCP were greatly affected by the pandemic, as you can imagine. But the pandemic is on the wane, and so we want to get a jump on the future. We do what we do because cancer in children is just unacceptable. Childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children under the age of 19 in the United States. 1 in 285 children in the US will be diagnosed with cancer by the time they're 20 years old. 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have long-lasting chronic conditions from their treatment. Childhood cancer is not just one disease. It's made up of over 12 different types and over 100 subtypes. Despite these facts, childhood cancer receives less than 4% of the annual budget of the American Cancer Institute. What we do and why we do it involves real people, families whose lives get turned upside down with the diagnosis of a child with cancer. The video you are about to see is the story of the Helland family, Nathan, Sarah, Betty, and Francis. They live in North Bend, Oregon. Betty and Francis are identical twins. At 3.5 years old, when Francis started running a low-grade fever, complained of pain in her leg, and her energy level suddenly changed, the Hellands sought a medical explanation. Their local hospital referred them immediately to Doernbecher. Within 24 hours of thinking their child had a minor fever, the Hellands were at Doernbecher. Dr. Melinda Wu, a pediatrician and a hematology oncology fellow, and Dr. Susan Lindemoller were assigned to the Hellands as a team and delivered the diagnosis of standard acute lymphoblastic leukemia, ALL, a form of leukemia. This was a life-changing diagnosis for the Hellands. Among the other changes in their lives, they would have to deal with the weekly visits to Doernbecher for therapy. That's a 440-mile round trip. Watch and listen now as Sarah Helland tells about their experience.
Because of course, two of our most important warriors, besides these two, were our very favorite doctors in the whole world, Dr. Lindemoller and Dr. Wu, who were with us from the very first day. I mean, the first days of Francis's diagnosis were kind of a blur nowadays, but I remember both of them from the very first day and having the security and stability of having them in our lives every day, and then for dozens and dozens and dozens of appointments over the last 3 years. They've been with us the whole step of the way. And the whole staff at Doernbecher has been inspiring and brilliant and supportive and loving and kind and, given us so much hope. But these two in particular, who we've gotten to know. We've spent countless days at Doernbecher over the last 3 years. Some of them not as fun as others. This particular one is actually a really good day. Frances was having her port removed after her chemo was done. So this was a wonderful day, but we did spend some sick days there. But also just some fun days. The girls always looked forward to riding the tram every time we came up. And they actually really looked forward to our visits. Just like Frances mentioned in her little speech, they didn't dread coming up here at all, even though sometimes Frances would spend the whole car ride home throwing up after her treatment. She still would look forward to it because she knew that she would see wonderful people and just be taken care of. And her sister would be with her the whole time as well. This is another really good day at Doernbecher. We happened to have an appointment on Halloween, and Dr. Wu, in all of her dedication and wonderfulness, dressed up as Rainbow Dash, which is another favorite of the girls', and they were so thrilled to show up that day and see Dr. Wu looking so silly, and they just loved that, and that was wonderful. Having the luxury of having both a fellow and Dr. Lindemoller kind of on our team has just been such a blessing for us, because we knew that every time we would come, we didn't always know what to expect, like how Frances would feel or how her numbers would look, and there was always some anxiety, but we always knew that we were going to come and we were going to see one of the two of them. So having that double team was so phenomenal, and we were so thankful for the fellowship program for that aspect, that Dr. Wu did have the chance to do clinical work and was able to be with us through this whole journey. And we were always able to see a doctor who we trusted and who we loved and who loved our girls. And also knowing that they were working together as a team just really gave us a lot of hope, and it just really gave us the peace of mind of knowing that there were lots of brains working together to make sure that Frances was getting the right treatment and that she would eventually be cured. There's another cute picture of Dr. Wu and Dr. Lindemoller. just to kind of conclude, I want to share two statistics with you that we learned over the course of this journey with Francis that just kind of have stuck with us and have inspired us and just make us ever so grateful to all of you for all of your hard work. The first statistic is when we first found out that Dr. Wu was assigned to us after kind of the dust had settled, I didn't really understand what a fellow was. And so I did a little bit of research, and there's a really nice webpage on the Doernbecher website that talks about the fellowship program. And one of the things that I read to my husband that actually made me laugh, and I think those of you who have a normal full-time job will appreciate this, it says something to the effect of, at Doernbecher, we limit our fellows to only 80 hours a week of work time. And I thought, oh, that's got to be a typo. But then after working with Dr. Wu, I realized that indeed it's not at all a typo. And I am so, just grateful just in general that there are people out there in the world who want to dedicate so much of their lives to this profession and to this research and to these kids. And so that was really staggering, and I'm inspired constantly by the hard work that they do and that the fellowship program does as a whole. So your support of that is so tremendous, because I mean, it's just such an amazing thing to think that anybody wants to give so much, and that program exists so that they can, and it's been such a blessing for us. And then the other thing, the other statistic that stuck with me is one of the first days we were in the hospital, Dr. Linda Mulder was sharing with us, that Francis's probability of cure was, somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 90%, which gave us a lot of hope, of course. And one thing that she said is she just felt so grateful that she was able to tell us that, because some of her colleagues at the beginning of their careers, when they would sit down with parents of children who are diagnosed with ALL, would have to tell them that, they probably wouldn't survive 5 years. And back then, just a few decades ago, the cure rate was almost nothing. And it's thanks to, your research and your hard work and the funds that you all provide that have made it possible for our kids to survive this disease. So we are so grateful for that. And as you can see, and you can see these two little guys, but they're back to being identical twins. And Frances has been so healthy over these last 10 months, I guess. It'll be about 2 more months until she celebrates her last day of chemo anniversary. And she's been so healthy and so happy, and we're so grateful. And again, it couldn't have been done without all of the fundraising and all of the hard work and all of the research that you guys all do. So thank you.
I hardly ever make it completely through that presentation. It's a very, very powerful message, and it just gets repeated case after case, year after year up there, doing spectacular work. So what is Kiwanis Doernbecher Children's Cancer Program? Well, it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization, also known as KDCCP, and we fund the first year of a 3-year pediatric hematology oncology fellowship program for 2 fellows at Doernbecher Children's Hospital. And there's a reason why we do that. As Kiwanians, we were asked to do it by the hospital. And it's the first year of the fellowship program that they need the funding, because when you think about it, it makes sense. The doctors haven't done anything or achieved anything yet that would allow them to apply for a grant. So they really need that money in the first year to pay for their salaries and benefits, so that they can spend all of their time. And this is the time when they spend 80 hours a week, when they're learning everything they can about cancer and everything that they can learn about the treatments that are available for cancers today. Later in the fellowship, their second and third year, they focus on solving problems of the future with research. So we fund the first year because it's very important to the fellows to have that freedom just to learn everything they can in that first year. Dr. Linda Stork, who heads the pediatric cancer unit at Doernbecher, says there would be no fellowship program without Kiwanis. So why have Kiwanians been so supportive over the years? Well, first, there's Doernbecher Children's Hospital. It ranks in the top 20 in children's cancer out of 5,000 hospitals evaluated by US News and World Report. It's also a go-to regional hospital for children's cancer. Check out these pediatric visitation maps from Doernbecher. You can see that Doernbecher and the cancer program are not just Portland charities. There are roughly 7,000 pediatric visits each year just from your geographic region in Oregon alone. Note that every county in Oregon and Southwest Washington are served. Another reason why Kiwanians have supported KDCCP is because of the quality of the fellowship program itself. And the leadership is picky. 2 fellows are chosen from between 50 and 100 applicants per year. Because of the educational curriculum and because the first year is paid for by KDCCP, the leaders are really able to select the cream of the crop. Here's a slide that just shows the happy faces of the fellows. The newest fellows are Austin Healy and Andrew Gledhill. Amanda Johnson was just awarded the Cheryl Hanna Humanism Award from the Department of Pediatrics at the department's Fellows Graduation Ceremony. The award recognizes outstanding compassion, selflessness, contributions to society, and care for patient well-being. She won it out of all of the Department of Pediatrics fellows, not just the cancer fellows. So anyway, she's pretty spectacular in her own right. So is it fair that any child gets cancer? Presuming that the answer is no. If not, what can we, meaning you, what can you do about it? Well, you can give to the American Cancer Society. But if you really want to help with children's cancer, that may not be your best investment. Each dollar you give gets whittled down because they just don't focus on children's cancer. Sorry, flip a page here. However, when you give to KDCCP, you know where your money is going. You are investing in human beings. 2 young pediatricians who want to be children's cancer specialists for the rest of their lives. KDCCP is a volunteer organization. That means we have very low overhead. The fellowship program graduates leading edge pediatric cancer specialists trained to treat patients, conduct research, manage clinical trials, and train other doctors. KDCCP has helped the fellowship program put 37 such specialists into the fight against children's cancer since 2003, and most of those specialists will have 40-year careers. $1 for the fellowship program doesn't just get used up on one research project or one program. It grows in influence exponentially over time. But what about the results? Have survival rates increased? Has medicine advanced? Is there hope for the future? Because of major treatment advances in recent decades, more than 80% of children with cancer now survive 5 years or more. Overall, this is a huge increase since the mid-1970s when the 5-year survival rate was about 58%. Still, survival rates can vary a great deal depending on the type of cancer and other factors. Cancer is a tricky and elusive disease, but doctors are making inroads, and there's reason to hope that an end to it can be achieved. Let's look at some of the advancements that have happened close to home. First, Brian Drucker at OHSU. He's not a fellow, but many fellows have worked in his lab at OHSU. He ushered in a new era of personalized cancer medicine with Gleevec in 2002. Gleevec kills cells that enable cancer to grow without harming healthy ones. It's used to treat chronic myeloid leukemia, or CML. With Gleevec, CML has a survival rate of between 33 and 83%. Before Gleevec, nobody survived. Ashley Speckhart was the first Kiwanis Fellow. She's addressing the long-term side effects of cancer treatment. Early detection and treatment of side effects lessens the impact on a patient's health. Laura Davis. She was the first adolescent and young adult fellow in the United States. She graduated our fellowship program in 2013. She's searching for a new combination of drugs to treat sarcoma. Why? Because nearly half of sarcoma cases occur in adolescents and young adults. Immunotherapy, a new frontier in medical innovation with the ability to reprogram a patient's own cells to attack a deadly cancer. I've got a edited TED Talk for you here, just a couple of minutes that will demonstrate this therapy.
What if the power to cure cancer is already in our body? It's part of our body. What if it's our immune system? I was tantalized with that thought many, many years ago, and I took Plan A. I wanted to try to be a physician scientist, learn from my patients in the clinic, go back to the laboratory and create solutions for them. No one pointed out that that might be a 20-year journey until you started seeing the fruits of your labor. And indeed, we have a saying in research that if we knew what we were doing, it wouldn't be called research. That's the path. So what about our immune system? It's this incredible part of our body that protects us every day from the common cold. If a friend sneezed on you on your way into the auditorium, you may have a runny nose and some aches and pains while you have a fever for a couple days. And then your body heals itself. It gets rid of that invading virus. Can we turn the immune system against cancer? And if we did, would being cured of cancer feel no worse than you have a cold for a couple days? That's the possibility. So in our laboratories, we focus on white blood cells of the immune system. I will say the T cell is probably the Maserati of the immune system. I'm biased, but this is what T cells do every day for us. They are running around our body protecting us from invaders like viruses. You see the small cell there? That's the T cell. It has sensors on it. It can detect if a cell has a virus hiding on the inside. And when it does, an alarm system goes off in that T cell. It drills holes in the membrane of that virally infected cells, puts little proteins inside that make that cell die and digest all the virus along the way. This is how our immune system works every day. So what about cancer? What about patients with cancer? They have good T cells. What we're learning is that cancer works very hard in our bodies to become invisible to the immune system, to create a false sense of peaceful coexistence when we really want a battle to take place. How can we overcome that? So we started thinking about T cells like you would your smartphone. You may need an app to find the nearest Starbucks, to find that cup of coffee. T cells need an app to be able to bump up against a cancer cell and do exactly what you just saw when it bumped up against a virally infected cell. So what do? We take our research and we think, well, T cells need apps. They're not going to be apps that are coded in computer code. They're going to be coded in recombinant DNA code. And we started making apps now that create something that comes to the surface of the T cell that wasn't there before. And you can think of that as an artificial Velcro-like molecule, a lock and key that now when the T cell bumps up against a cancer cell, there's a lock and key fit, very specific and precise, and it triggers the T cell to do something it couldn't before, to kill a cancer cell. What would it mean if we can develop this technology and make it a therapy for patients in the clinic. It would mean that when you had a diagnosis of cancer, a tube of blood would be taken by your doctor, it'd be shipped to a T cell factory, and then a week later, your T cells would come back to you. Cells from your own body now equipped to get rid of the cancer in your body, ideally with minimal side effects. So I want to show you the next step when we started seeing results that really got us excited. What you're going to see is a petri dish that's full of a very aggressive pediatric cancer called neuroblastoma, and the little cells that we add in are the reprogrammed T cells with the Velcro molecule that we've designed. Here come the T cells. Now, my kids call these like the Pac-Man cells. I don't have to say much as you see what's going on in this petri dish. These T cells are making that attachment, and they're sending their alarm system signals to kill those cancer cells. You might notice there's one cancer cell up there on the screen right there. Will that be the one that survives, that causes a relapse? And the answer is no. Now the petri dish is just full of T cells that want to see more cancer cells and do it over and over again. It's a living therapy that would get stronger in your body as long as there are any cancer left. And then it could stay in your body for prolonged periods of time. This is a very different medicine that we think about in the hospital.
So that's pretty exciting stuff. This picture here is a photo of a team of investigators, including Bill Chang, who was a 2006 Kiwanis Fellow, whose work led to the approval of Kymriah, the first gene transfer therapy available in the US. So we were involved with this immunotherapy at the level that it actually got introduced as a drug. A patient's own blood cells are collected and genetically engineered to attack B cell leukemia cells and then infused back into the patient. In a recent clinical trial, a single dose of Kymriah resulted in 83% of the participants becoming cancer-free after 3 months. So that's kind of an exciting therapy. Here's something else that's pretty exciting. In her lab, OHSU Missy Wong is working towards prevention of cancer. Her mission is to develop new ways to detect cancer at the earliest possible stage. And then there's recent graduate Matt Dietz, a 2019 Kiwanis Fellow. He's also working on cancer prevention. His research is identifying markers for cancer at birth to create a prevention environment. So, is there hope for a future without children's cancer? Well, Dr. Brainer, physician-in-chief, Doernbecher Children's Hospital, thinks so. He says, I believe that within our lifetime, with the research that the Kiwanis Fellows are doing, we can come to an end of children's cancer with prevention. So that's our story. That's who KDCCP is. We're raising money for the fellowship program. And we are I would say we're a legacy Kiwanis project. We've been at this since 2003. Actually, we started working up at Doernbecher, or helping Doernbecher, before 2003, but KDCCP was formed in 2003. So how can Kiwanis help KDCCP? Well, you can help us raise the money that we've pledged to the fellowship program. We raise the money to cover the cost of salary and benefits of 2 fellows in their first year of the fellowship. It's $180,000 a year. Suggestions might be sustained donations by individuals. Through our website, you can donate $10 a month or more, of course. A club budgeted amount annually. You can come up with your own fundraiser or support one of KDCCP's. And KDCCP can help you reach your fundraising goal. You can attend our Children's Cancer Awareness Month event coming up in September. And that's what this A Bridge is Coming is all about. This is an event which we hope is the bridge between the COVID era and the post-COVID era. It'll be much like the event that we used to call Kiwanis Day at Doernbecher, but it happens in September, which is Children's Cancer Awareness Month. And we'd like to see as many people as we can participate in the event and also participate in the auction that will precede that event. You can engage your Key Club and or Builders Club to do a fundraiser. Help us engage with business leaders and business owners as potential donors. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Share our posts with your followers and friends. Subscribe to our newsletter and ask others to subscribe. You just need to go to kiwanisdoernbecher.org. Donate and purchase items such as raffle tickets and ornaments from our website, kiwanisdoernbecher.org. This is where you can help identify organizations that might want to purchase Kiwanis Doernbecher branded ornaments for their customers and agents. We would love to talk to them. Of course, you already know about Amazon Smile. I saw that on your website. When purchasing from Amazon, you could identify Kiwanis Doernbecher Children's Cancer Program as another charity to share in the rewards from Amazon. So KDCCP is looking to rekindle our relationship with Kiwanians and Kiwanis clubs. How deep is your passion for ending children's cancer? Will your club budget an amount each year for KDCCP? KDCCP will assist you in reaching your goal. Do you have ideas for raising funds? Contacts that would be beneficial to KDCCP as donors and or sponsors? Do you have time to dedicate to planning and oversight of fundraising operations? In other words, would you like to be a member of one of the KDCCP teams? Do you have skills that you'd like to use in our cause, such as social media skills, marketing, or managing skills? Currently, this is interesting given the discussion that happened earlier here, we are lacking a team leader who's in charge of our relationship with Key Club. If you have experience with Key Club and their communications and fundraising, it would be very useful to have a liaison between Key Club and us. So bottom line is we'd like to talk to anyone who might be interested in becoming more involved in the fight to end children's cancer. So with that, I'll just ask if there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fantastic. That was very informative. And I mean, yeah, children's cancer is such an unfortunate thing. I actually have a client that lost her son to sarcoma back in December. And just the battle, both emotionally and financially and all of the things were really traumatic and draining on her and her family. Yeah. And, you know, so my first question to you, or my question isn't so much dealing with you guys specifically, but at the very beginning of your presentation, you said that childhood cancer gets less than 4% annually budgeted from the American Cancer Institute. Can you speak to why such a small percentage of funds get put towards children's cancer?
Yes, because children's cancer only represents about 2 to 4% of cancers. You know, so the adult cancer problem, I mean, it's just numbers, you know, the numbers of people, the different types of cancers and whatnot make it such that, you know, the American Cancer Institute or American Cancer Society is working to solve these bigger problems, the problems that affect more people.
Sure.
And that's why, you know, and you know, I mean, obviously they're a great organization, they do great work and whatnot, but you know, and that's obviously we're trying to focus on children's cancer and why KDCCP is a better investment for everyone, because really the percentage of every dollar that goes directly towards improving the survival rate in children's cancer is just it's a very good bargain.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess to piggyback on that, have they found any links to, obviously early detection and things like that, but if we're born with some sort of genetic potential for cancer and they can come up with a cause or what's the word, some sort of treatment so that, a child may never get cancer, does that lower the rate of likelihood that an adult might have a cancer later in life?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'd just be guessing at the answer. I know that, these doctors that are the pediatricians and the pediatric oncologists, they are seriously working to work themselves out of a job. I mean, that's their fondest wish, is to not have to deal with it anymore because they've solved the problem. I do know that there are significant differences between children's cancer and adult cancers, having to do with the undeveloped body of a child and how, a child's cancer case Doernbecher does this. A child's cancer case is opened when they're diagnosed with cancer as a child, and it remains open for the rest of their lives because they never know, whether some treatment that solved the cancer problem to begin with later in life results in some other issue that they may have to deal with. So they continuously monitor the kids that have cancer even through their adult lives. So files don't get closed unless the person dies. So there are differences in between the two, and I don't know how many similarities are, which would go to the root of your question. So if there, if you can solve the problem in a kid, does that mean you can solve it in the adult? I don't know.
No, that's fair. Yeah, because logically that's what I would think, right?
You would think, because you're starting with kind of the same organisms, but
right.
But like they say, cancer is tricky. It's elusive. It works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you. That's helpful.
Well,
Any other questions?
Can't remember how to do
Earl.
Let's see. Gosh, in the club I was in before, we worked a great deal with this organization, with the Klaskenai Club, and selling of the tickets for the raffle.
Right.
It was a good project. I had the opportunity on a number of occasions to go up during the program that we used to have, where it was Kiwanis Day at Doernbecher, and take people up there. If you go up there and you can see what gets done with those kids, and you can talk to some of the parents and see the impact that we're having, it is really, really heartwarming. And I think, as Tom talked about, there's lots of reasons people give to the Cancer Society, and they oftentimes direct it. We are one of those families that unfortunately had that experience. We direct our money towards a particular type of cancer, but children's cancer is one we also donate to. And I would strongly urge us to think about ways that we can help this program, because it does so much for kids, kids that we are really dedicated to helping. So I really appreciate all that you do, Tom. If you get an opportunity and Taylor Kissinger, make sure you say hi to him for me, will you?
He's out on the road, because he's his wife passed away. Did you know his wife?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she passed away, and so he's kind of alone now, but he's out kind of going back to everywhere that they used to like the camp. So he's kind of, just coming to grips with it and whatnot. But yeah, he's a great guy, a hard worker, and a wonderful Kiwanian, and he put his heart and soul into this program. And so we hope to have some events that you guys can either sign on to, like a golf outing, or and then we have these Christmas ornaments for sale. They'll be starting up soon. And like this event in September, we'll have an auction in conjunction with that. And any ideas that you have, and especially if it has to do with a relationship with Key Club, that would also be very interesting to us.
Awesome. Truman, did you have a question?
Oh, yes, thank you. Just kind of an ancillary to your program. You spoke about the family that had to drive 400 miles round trip for treatments. Is there no longer a housing arrangement for such families?
There is a housing arrangement. There's actually a newer and better one.
Oh, good.
So, I mean, they chose to do that, I think. It was, I don't know exactly what the reason was, but they chose to do it. Like, it's not a matter of affordability either, because Doernbecher never turns anybody away because of their ability to pay. So it was strictly their choice. And they just built a new facility.
It's the Ronald McDonald House, is that right?
Yeah, it's not Ronald McDonald though. I don't think. I think it might be a Knight, Phil Knight type of investment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ronald McDonald at one time.
Any other questions for Tom before we part ways today?
Yes, I hate hearing myself say this, but I'm going to do it anyway. How do I find out about representing Doernbecher in the Christmas ornaments, with the Christmas ornaments? We have 2 or 3 of them. They're very high quality and they're very expensive. So I hope you get a good amount of the profits, but I'd be willing to consider working with you on that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. Let me take your name and we'll get back in touch with you on that.
Okay, just stay around after the meeting if you would.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Any parting words of wisdom from anybody or final questions? Okay. Well, with that, Tom, thank you again so much for your time. Very enlightening. It is important stuff. I think us as a club can really step up and potentially help a little more moving forward. And so thank you guys. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week. We'll see you next week in person.
Okay. Truman.
Yes, sir.